Welcome back to the program powered by Outback Whips and Leather for this Saturday morning. Well, during the week, the Broken Hill City Council held a couple of different consultations with the community, with urban designers Alan, Jack and Cottier in regard to the revitalisation of the Central Business District. Well, yesterday they had a pop-up display down at the Town Square. I had the opportunity to go along on Thursday night to the Musicians Club to hear the presentation and see it and give some feedback. Also went down yesterday to have a chat with one of their architects, John Whittingham, and he had a chat with me in regard to the urban design. So, John, what's the overall feeling been from the community thus far?
Yeah, thanks, Damien. Look, we had our first community consultation last night, and it was the first time we got a chance to present the entire scheme to people, because I think there's only been snippets that have been going around in the media, and so this was a really good opportunity for people to learn about the entire scheme. And I think overall people are very impressed and really excited. Obviously there's bits and pieces that lots of questions, and there's still bits that need more design development, and we understand that, and that's part of this process. That this is stage one, setting an overall vision. And then, you start to narrow down on things and develop further. So it was really valuable, and we feel people are getting on board with it. So it's really exciting, yeah.
There's been lots of talk about the lights of Broken Hill, and especially the line of light, yes. So to speak. Just talk us through that. What's so special about that?
Yeah, so look, with our lighting strategy, There's three aspects to it. There's just a simple practical lighting down the main street, lighting under the awnings, just to make it safe at night, make it look like the business is open, the main street's open for business. But in addition to that, there's the lighting of the architectural, beautiful buildings of this main street, and that'll be done in a really beautiful, subtle way, and I think that's just going to enhance the main street. But the thing that most people have been talking about, and probably the most significant piece of infrastructure in terms of lighting, is what we've called the line of light, we've called it art sculpture. And it's a wire catenary system that runs on poles down the main street, turning a corner up Sulphide Street past the Palace Hotel, then up onto the line of load. And this is going to be run by LEDs using energy efficient. I think it's about 60% less than you normally have for street lighting. It's going to be used for street lighting, so it'll be, most of the time it'll be white. It'll be, most people won't even notice it. It'll just be a normal lighting system, but it can be used when we've got special events and festivals. You can use colour changing. I think a couple of weeks ago that the town got behind Breast Cancer Week, and so you could have pink lighting for a week if you wanted. And we just see it as a great opportunity, to provide something fun and different. And you think about things like the vivid, display in art, lighting showcase in Sydney, and the amount of interest and publicity that brings into Sydney. Then in addition to this line of load, we're talking about the fractured the mirrors on the hill, which are silver and reflective of the history of what the whole line of load's about, the silver that's been drawn out of the ground. And so we're saying we could light that at night, provide a feature, and then in addition, it might be just once a year you could fire a laser at it with different colours and it'd be spectacular. And so we're really excited, and I know there's been mixed feelings, and that's I guess what you've been alluding to, and people are worried what it's going to look like. Is it going to be Las Vegas coming to Broken Hill? And our feeling is in some of these things you do need to be a little bit courageous and try things, and we would be advocating, if money becomes available for this, to do it in small pieces and do trials and pilot programs where you don't spend a lot of money. You do small interventions that can be reversed easily, just to see what people think and get people on board or not. Or, we might realise maybe it needs to go in a different direction. But, unless you try it, you'll never know. And we're actually really excited that it could be, a really amazing, spectacular thing that could happen that won't only just draw in sort of national significance, but also international. So there's a lot of international, visitors that come through Australia, and they'll want to come to Broken Hill to see this. So I guess that's the ultimate vision, and that's what council want as well. They want things that are going to draw people to Broken Hill.
One of the other things that I know came out of the initial consultation phase that you took back and put the plan together was parking. And reading through the draft plan, there's been quite a lot of talk about the fact that we're going to lose parking. Can you talk on that?
Yeah, look, thanks, Damien. Yeah, we are proposing some loss of parking, and that's clear, but it has to be looked at in a holistic light. So there are some spaces being taken out, but when you look at the, I guess from sulphide down to oxide, we will have more parking. There's no doubt that through the using angle parkings that are parallel in some locations, we're actually going to intensify the parking. And there's studies going on at the moment where we'll be able to provide figures and facts that actually say how many extra parks, even though we're taking away parking, there will be additional parking. So I just want to make that clear to all your listeners that they understand overall we're not going to lose parking. And the parking that we do provide, the new parking, we're really keen. Although maybe it's further away from the main street, we want to look at shaded parking, and whether it's shade structures or solar panels covering car spaces or trees. Often people are prepared to walk that bit further if they can have a shaded car space. Particularly, we're talking on today, which is meant to be 42 degrees, and it's, if I was parking my car, I'd want it in the shade. You've only got to go up to Coles and have a look there. They've got shaded parking, but the parking most immediate direct on the building isn't shaded, and you can often see they're vacant, and everyone's prepared to walk that extra bit. And so we see that as a strategy that we could use, employ here to get people parking off the main street because they know they can get shaded spaces. Yeah.
One of the talks of discussion was the possibility, if the community agreed, moving the library into the main street and maybe doing away with the actual government departments that are in there at the moment.
Yeah.
How did that sit?
Yeah, so last night we discussed that at length. There was a lot of input on that, and we're really excited by the idea because we just... time and time again, there's been so many examples through Australia and probably internationally as well, where libraries are becoming community hubs. Almost the living room of the city, people tend to say, where they become more like a cafe type drop-in thing with comfy chairs out the front and newspapers on tap and books and journals, and then you've still got your normal resources and books and in behind. We think that'd be a great aspect for the main street. We're all about activating the main street, and this will bring more foot traffic to the main street. One of the big things that came out, however, last night was, people concerned about a couple of aspects, and I'll just mention a couple of those right now. One is parking. Obviously, the library does draw a lot of people, and therefore you need a lot of parking. So how do we resolve that? That's something we've got to take on board and consider more. The other thing was the access. So if you can't park at the front, the elderly, because there's a whole mix of people, parents with small children and things like that. How do they get to the library? Is it easy to access, or do you have to park a mile away and get in? So it really is, probably a lot of things are hanging around the parking. So that is something we'd have to take on board and understand. The library idea. We love the idea, but we do need to, ensure that it's a good idea, and resolving the parking and having a strategy for that would be something we'd have to resolve.
I guess one of the things that I noticed in the draft plan was you're asking the businesses to work closer together, and that's something that could actually happen pretty much almost immediately with the opportunity to provide free Wi-Fi, staying open longer, and so forth.
Yeah, look, we are all for that. The way this strategy is going to work, Main Street strategy is everyone gets on board, and it's been great to have community and also shop owners being involved in that. I mean, we haven't had everyone involved. It'd be great to use this Main Street project as an opportunity to bring everyone together with a vision for the future, because I think that's what we need to do. There are, challenges that have to be addressed, and the only way we can address these challenges if people do catch the vision and get on board. So we're really supportive and really want to encourage people to look into the plan, to understand some of these strategies and how they could participate in them. Because in the end of the day, we're just providing a framework for the community to take this and run with it. Some of these strategies, as you say, Wi-Fi, are things that the shop owners can take up on and start to do right away. And there have been plenty of studies and about providing free Wi-Fi and then additional turnover because of it. And you only have to look at, I think I mentioned last night, the examples of, Starbucks and McDonald's as well, of that being a draw for people. And, I have no doubt that providing that sort of a service in the main street, you'd see, the benefit financially as well.
So John, just explain to us in regard to the lighting for the actual, for example, the Town Hall facade.
Yeah, look, this is a really exciting one. We think that the Town Hall is an interesting building because, obviously back in the, I think it was in the 70s, nearly the whole building was knocked down, and fortunately the facade was preserved. And we see it as an opportunity to use that for something special. We want to light the facade, but as you say, there's an opportunity that we want to, investigate, which is doing just normal projection. So a normal projector that you can buy for, whatever it is, $1,000 from Dick Smith or whoever. And using very low, cheap technology, we can project images of Broken Hill, the miners, the history, and it's something we can, like I said before, it could be a pilot project. You can see how it goes. Do people like it? Do they don't? What else do they want to show? They want to show some of the significant people of Broken Hill projected. So it's not only just for visitors, it's actually for the locals as well, because the stories is what really interests people. I think that, we've got a great setting of Broken Hill. There's this, it's fabulous environment, but in addition, I think what makes it even more fabulous are the stories. And so, moving pictures projected in the town hall windows, I mean, that could be, one way of bringing that to light. Yeah,
we're standing today at the town square, and this has been a very big discussion in the early stages, the fact that it's underutilised and so forth. And I noticed in the actual draft plan that you've put forward that's what people are saying. It is underutilised. It'd be good to have it being used more. The plan that you've got is actually to basically rebuild it to a certain degree.
Look, it is, Damien. I think Mayor Winston Kye said it pretty well last night. He said it's not bad, the town square as it is, but it's not good. So no one really thinks much of it. And no one really uses it. So it's not offensive, but it's got so much potential to be so much better. And I think that's what we're really taking on board, that the stepped arrangement does limit what you can do there. And so by making it level and easy to access is going to be a big step forward. The other thing is it's quite cluttered. There's a lot of visual impediments. We just think it'd be fabulous, from the railway station looking down, right down Chloride Street beyond the town square, that you actually open up that view. So straight away when you come out of the train or dropped off at the top on Crystal Street, you straight away can see the post office and the exchange on the corner. So we're about opening it up, we're about making it level, but then we're also about providing more shade and seating opportunities. And the big thing we really want to employ, and this has been done plenty of times, most recently, I think it might have been there's water misting, I think, happening in Tamworth, but it's that is something that draws people in. And so it's not only a water feature to look at. This is a water feature that we're looking at using environmentally sensitive, and particularly in these current times with water sensitivities, that we're using recycled water, and in such a way that we're not going to be wasting it. But it's we're just talking about a thin mist of water that you can walk on. You might have some jets coming up that you can play in as well, but you can turn it on and off as needs be. But that is fun to play in for kids, also for us older people. Take your shoes off and wander through. But also it's just the general evaporative cooling you get from that as well. We live in a dry climate here in Broken Hill, and evaporative cooling is quite powerful. So sitting by that, just with the tiniest breeze, you'll get the feeling of almost an air-conditioned environment in that town square, which that is enough to drive people to that. And then, with Charlotte's on the corner, and hopefully in the future other cafes seeing the opportunities and moving into the town square, making that a really lively, bustling place. That's what our vision for that is.
Obviously, there's a time frame that people have to give council feedback and give you feedback as the urban designers. They've got until the 5th of December. Where to from there? Do you take the information back and take people's comments on board and maybe adjust a few things? Oh,
look, completely. Urban design and working on renovating the town and primarily the main street here is about listening to the town and taking on board comments and criticisms and developing it so that it works really effectively. I mean, when you develop your own house or you renovate a back room and you've got to negotiate and work it up with your wife or, whatever, your partner, that can be challenging. And in this case, it's a big renovation with a lot of different stakeholders and people, and you're only going to get it right if you listen. If you're arrogant and you just go and you think you know best, it's never going to work. So our ethos and the way we work is really about engagement, and council are really strong on that as well. So, we had our community consultation a couple of months ago, and since then there's been opportunities for people to continue to send in information to council. And since the presentation or our draft urban strategy has been sort of posted online and also presented through the media, people have had opportunities to give comments. And then we had the workshop last night. We're down in the town square today, and people are coming in and giving more ideas. And that's going to keep on going until the 5th, as you mentioned. And so when that's all in, we will consolidate that and then try to develop and bring it all together in a revised strategy. But I guess your listeners must understand that, in working something like that, you're never going to make everyone happy. There's always going to be compromises. There's always going to be things that not everyone thinks is the right way to go. And at some point, you just need to make a call on that. And that's why when the money does come in and we start to roll out some of these projects, there's still going to be more opportunity to refine and develop as we go. So before anything is built and before anything goes in, there's still going to be more opportunity. And so I guess I want to stress that to everyone. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming out to Broken Hill and putting our interests in your world, I guess you could say. And we look forward to seeing you maybe in 2015.
Yeah. Look, thanks, Damien. It's a pleasure talking to you.